Apple's Logic Pro gets a significant update, Elektron announces another brand new piece of hardware, and Ableton Live 10 finally gets a release date. Find out more coming up. Thank you for watching PDot TV, where you'll find tips, tricks, and tutorials for DJs and music performers. Now let's get into the video. Apple's recently announced Logic's latest update to Logic Pro version 10.4. This new update not only comes with a few new effects, but a major new feature as well. They're calling it Smart Tempo. But first, before I get into that, let me go over some of the new effects. First are some new EQs. You get modeled EQs after some classic consoles, such as the Pultec EQ, which you've seen other companies make, models of as well, from Native Instruments to UA. So it's cool to have that included in Logic Pro 10 as well. And secondly, is some new reverbs, and finally, the spiritual successor to Camel Fat. Now, Camel Audio was picked up by Apple a few years ago, and we've seen Alchemy make its way into Logic, so it's nice to see that VSTs such as Camel Fat finally make its way in. I know that I was a big Camel Fat user in the past. I love the way that it can make your sounds sound a little bit grittier or warmer. It was just a nice thing to sprinkle on top of a lot of your mixes. And I know a lot of people out there enjoyed that plugin and really missed it once they pulled it off the market. So it's nice to see it in Logic 10. I'm sad to see that it's just in Logic 10, as now I'm an Ableton user. But it's cool to see that the technology from Camel Fat is making its way into the DNA of Logic. The big new feature is what they're calling Smart Tempo. Now what this does is kind of a different approach to warping audio. So they're advertising that you can record in audio without a click track, and Logic will be able to figure out the tempo of it and snap everything else around that audio. So instead of how in Ableton, where you'd have a piece of audio and then you'd beat grid it out using the different warp markers, now Logic will do that automatically. I'm curious to see how accurate it is and how easy it is to edit it if Logic doesn't get it right, especially with things with big shifts in tempo. I'm really excited to see this new technology be added to Logic, as it seems like this is something that every DAW should have from here on out. I mean, it's one of the biggest reasons why Ableton is so popular, the ability to just take audio and find its tempo and just rearrange it and use it with other pieces of audio or other pieces of MIDI and just create your own chopped up sample-based, loop-based kind of workflow. So it's nice to see that finally Logic's joined the party, and curious to see how well it works out in comparison to its competition. Hardware manufacturer Elektron just announced another new piece of hardware. Last year they introduced their latest smaller sampler sequencer, the Digitact, and now they're taking that same kind of form factor into the synthesis market with the Digitone. And this is a smaller, compact size FM synthesizer. And Elektron is marketing this as a way to get into FM synthesis, but in the user-friendly approach, where FM synthesis in the past has been kind of shrouded in mystery and one of the harder types of synthesis to really dive deep and get into. This one is aimed at users being able to get into it really easily, tweak sounds, and get their own grip on FM synthesis in an easier way than it's been in the past. I like the form factor that Elektron has with these two Digi products, the Digitact and now the Digitone. I like the smaller size, and still it maintains a lot of hardware control with a lot of buttons and a lot of knobs, so you still get a lot of tactile control and you're not deep diving through a lot of menus, which happens with a lot of these smaller synthesizers and sequencers and samplers. And of course, Elektron's known for their immaculate sound quality, and I'm sure that this Digitone is going to be no different. All of their previous synthesizers and all of their samplers have all been praised for how crisp and how clean and how nice they sound. And I'm really excited to see, them diving into a more affordable synthesizer market, whereas other manufacturers such as Korg in the past have come out with the things like Minilog and Arturia with the Mini Brutes. Now Elektron has their entry sort of in that market, but still with their own DNA and their own kind of form factor, doing it their own way, which is really cool in my opinion. Now I know a lot of producers out there like John Wayne really love the way Elektron's hardware works, so I'm curious to see how those kind of producers implement this new FM synthesizer, because I'm sure the workflow on this thing will work out just as easy as any of their previous hardware offerings. And finally, Ableton Live 10 gets its release date. Ableton Live 10 will be available on February 6, 2018. Now, if you've just purchased Ableton Live 9, you do get an upgrade to Ableton Live 10. If you just go to Ableton's website, you'll find all the information for that as well to make that upgrade happen. Also, if you're interested in purchasing Ableton Live 9 right now, you can purchase it and still get a nice little discount on it too. Information on that can be found on their website as well. I'm really excited to see the next iteration of Ableton. Every time they go from a milestone version, you know, I started from Ableton Live 6 and now we're on 9. Every single time they've jumped numbers like that, we get some really cool features and some really cool workflow improvements. And all the features that we've seen from Ableton Live 10 look great, and I'm curious to see how useful they'll really be in day-to-day usage. So that's it for the news this week. So question of the day to all my producers out there: what is your DAW of choice? Go ahead and leave that down in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. And as always, if you found this video useful, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, go ahead and click right here to subscribe to this channel. Or if you'd like to watch more content, go ahead and click on that video right there. And thank you for watching PDot TV, where you'll find tips, tricks, and tutorials for DJs and music performers. See you next time.